कीबोर्डवर Hello. Okay, let's get started. Hello everyone. First of all, thanks a lot to Hoboken Library for giving me this opportunity. My name is Neha and I am a full-time worker with a food company, and I used to be a food scientist. Now I work in sales. And I also have, as a hobby, I have a food blog, which is a website that I regularly write recipes on. And cooking has been my passion since I was very little, so I'm really excited to show you some of my favorite recipes. For the Hoboken Library programs in the month of August, I will be teaching every Wednesday at 5 o'clock a different global cuisine. So it's international cooking. Today we'll be learning Mediterranean cooking. So I have chosen two of my most favorite recipes that through my travels in the Mediterranean countries I absolutely love. So one is chicken kebabs, which are a Turkish inspired chicken kebab recipe, and another absolutely popular and household favorite hummus recipe. So before we get started, I just have a small personal update. I had a hand injury which resulted in a broken tendon that needed surgery, and it happened very suddenly and unexpectedly. And I had already committed to Hoboken Library, and I was so excited to do this. So I have some of the stuff already ready, and I want to introduce you to my husband Neil. He has graciously offered to help me because he knew I was so excited and looking forward to these teaching series. So I'm as I said, I'm excited, and let's get started. So the first thing we'll be making is the chicken kebabs, and for that I'm going to marinate it first so that we let it give enough time to marinate. So what I've done is I've taken chicken tenders and I have cut them in 3 to 4 pieces lengthwise. So that gives me nice cube-shaped little squares of chicken. So I have taken 1 pound of chicken tenders, and I already pre-cut most of them. I'm just showing one here to show you how I cut it. So I took 1 chicken tender and cut it in 3 pieces. So that's how I've cut all my chicken tenders. And like I said, there's 1 pound of it, which yields about 20 to 25 pieces. Okay, so those are all my chicken tenders. I'm going to start adding all of the marination ingredients to it. So the first thing that goes in is Greek yogurt. So this is just traditional Greek yogurt. I like to use full fat, but for this recipe you can also use whole, like skim 2% fat or 0% fat. It shouldn't matter. So I'm taking 1/3 cup of whole milk Greek yogurt, so it's full fat, and I've added that to my chicken. And then I'm going to start adding all of the spices. So I have here 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper powder, 1/4 teaspoon of clove powder, so it's black clove powder, ½ teaspoon of cumin powder, And here I've taken half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. You can also use regular paprika. I like using smoked because it gives that nice smoky flavor as if it was grilled on charcoal. Actually, this kebab recipe is great for grilling on the grill since it's beautiful weather these days, summertime. If you have a grill in the backyard, it's absolutely okay to grill it on the grill. But since I'll be baking it in my oven, I'm adding smoked paprika and then a little bit of finely chopped parsley. So it's just about a tablespoon. So that goes in there. And I have 2 big cloves of garlic crushed. So I'm adding that as well. Last couple of things, I promise. So I have some chili flakes, and this is up to your taste. I mean, this could add a bit of heat, so just a dab or a few, whatever you prefer. And then the last thing is about half a teaspoon of salt. My salt spoon is like really tiny, so I have to add more sometimes, but more number of spoons sometimes, but it's about a half a teaspoon. And then I am just going to mix all of this. If Swapnil can help me mix it, please. Thank you. So while he mixes that, I'm gonna start talking about my hummus recipe here. So I love making hummus at home, and having worked in the food industry for so long, any hummus that that is store bought, I mean, I think these days they have some that are, a lower shelf life and don't have preservatives added. But most packaged hummus brands that you'll find outside have preservatives added to it. So I've always preferred making my own hummus at home, and over several experimentation attempts, I have come up with this recipe which has 2 secret steps in it. So the first secret to making creamy, delicious, like an authentic hummus is deskinning the chickpeas. So obviously I had it deskinned before because I needed help with that. So this is 1 15-ounce can of chickpeas. It's a little tedious because you have to literally individually deskin them, and the way to do it is drain the can, take all of the chickpeas, wash them, and then you have to pinch each chickpea, and then the skin slides off pretty easily. It's not difficult, it's just tedious because you have to do it for each and every little chickpea. If you think that's crazy and don't have time or patience to do that, at least do it to half of your chickpeas and you'll see the difference and how it really affects and changes the texture of the hummus. So I have deskinned all of my chickpeas because that's how I think it gives the best results. Okay, so Swapnil is done mixing the chicken. So that's how it looks after the marination. You see the 1/3 cup of Greek yogurt was perfect for the 1 pound of chicken. I'm just going to leave it covered. Normally you would want to let it marinate for I mean, you can even do this overnight. Greek yogurt is generally good with not having syneriosis, and it will not become soggy. So you can even keep it overnight in the fridge, or a couple of hours in the fridge is recommended. If you're doing it quickly, let it sit at least for 20 minutes at room temperature. Today we may not be able to let it rest for that long, but we'll see. So we'll let it rest for maybe 10 minutes or so. So as I was saying, for the chickpeas, they're deskinned and ready. The other thing I have in my bowl here is a couple cloves of garlic. I've just peeled the garlic and made little pieces of it. So that's the chickpeas and the garlic. Here I have 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds. I don't know if you can see it in the bowl, but they're just plain white sesame seeds, and I have toasted them. So there's a few ways you can toast these. You can either do this in the oven, which I just think takes too long. especially if you're doing only a couple tablespoons. Another way to do it is just heat a small omelette, or like a small skillet or pan that you use for your sunny side up, and toast it in that for a couple of minutes. How I did it, and I think that's the easiest and simplest way to do it for sesame seeds or any nuts when you're toasting them, is in the microwave. So just lay it flat on a plate, a thin layer, and then just microwave it at high power, 30-second intervals, maybe 2 to 3 minutes, till they get like a little puffed up and glossy and slightly aromatic. So you don't have to brown them or anything, they're just lightly toasted. So I have my sesame seeds, and then here I have juice of one fat lime. So it was literally like this big a lime that I've juiced, and I think it makes a little over 2 tablespoons of lime juice. You can also use lemon juice, whichever you prefer. I prefer lime juice. So we're going to start making the hummus. Other than the chickpeas, the garlic, the sesame seeds, and the lime juice that we spoke about, you're also going to need some kind of oil. So there's two stages where oil gets added in the hummus. One is in the hummus itself to make it creamy and nice and homogeneous, and then one is for topping. So the one that I'll use inside is a light olive oil. You can also use peanut oil, canola oil, any neutral light oil that you have, any cooking oil. And then the one that goes as the topping, I like to use extra virgin olive oil because that adds a little bit of flavor and color, and it looks interesting and tastes great as well. So let's get started here. I'm gonna add the toasted sesame seeds in my food processor and give them a whiz. So obviously I don't have many here compared to the size of my food processor, but if you have enough sesame seeds and you keep doing this for long enough, it'll give out its own oil and become creamy and oily, and that's your tahini. But since this is not enough quantity, I'm going to go ahead and add my oil at this stage, which normally for hummus making I could have added later. But I'm going to go ahead and add it right now. So I'm adding 2 tablespoons of the lighter cooking oil. So that goes in. That volume is not helping, so I'm going to go ahead and add my lemon juice too. That's working. So the secret number 2 for making a creamy hummus is actually this. If you could see from the screen, I mean, there's some sesame seeds that are still whole, but no need to worry about it. They'll get crushed later with the chickpeas. But if you can see, this is almost formed like an emulsion that's white in color with the oil and the lemon juice. Normally, the oil would not naturally be coming from the sesame seeds, but we've also added additional oil ahead of time to just get more volume in our food processor. So that and the lemon juice mixes up and kind of makes this emulsion and makes it fluffy. So that's your secret number 2 for making a fluffy hummus. So the next thing, I'm going to go ahead and add the chickpeas and the garlic to the what what essentially is tahini with lemon juice. And start grinding. So at this stage, it is still thick and gooey. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding a little water at a time. You don't want to overdo it because there's no way to reverse it. So it's barely added like a tablespoon. Yeah, another tablespoon. And I hope you can see it from the wall that it's lightening up. And another, not even a tablespoon. And that's it. So my way to tell that it's the right consistency is when I start seeing splutter on the lid, from inside. So that's my sign to tell that it's the right consistency. And now you can see it's like this nice droppable, fluffy consistency. It smells and looks delicious. The only thing I haven't added yet is the salt. So I'm adding about a little more than a half a teaspoon of salt. That's it. So this is ready. I'm going to set it aside for a minute and go back to our marinated chicken. So it should have marinated by now for a few minutes. Normally you would want to give it some more time. I'm using metal skewers and I have already lined a baking sheet with some parchment paper, and I have cut large squares from a red bell pepper, so I have that, and I also have red onion cut in a similar size, so also large squares from that. So Swapnil is going to help me thread the chicken onto the skewers along with the pepper and the onion, and maybe when you're done with one skewer we can show how it looks. So just put a piece of chicken, a piece of onion and pepper, and just keep alternating. So while that's happening, let's go back to our hummus. So what we've made right now is essentially plain hummus. Even if you're not making garlic hummus, you do want a little bit of garlic in there to mask some of the funky sulfuric notes that you get in chickpeas. Sorry, pardon the food science jargon, but chickpeas have this skunky smell, and garlic, despite being skunky also, complements it and masks it and makes it savory and tasty and doesn't give you that bitter taste that comes from chickpeas. So maybe reduce the garlic if you don't want it to taste garlicky, and if you want to take it a different flavor profile route. I've recently actually started making sweet hummus, and it tastes delicious. It's kind of like vegan cookie dough and high protein cookie dough. So what I do is I get no salt added chickpeas. Oh, also my can of chickpeas was low sodium or no added salt. That's why I added more salt. So please check what chickpeas you're using and then decide how much salt you want to add to your hummus. So I use the no salt added chickpeas, and instead of olive oil I would use coconut oil, and then I can use sesame seeds, but you can also use any other nuts like almonds or cashews or walnuts, and then add cocoa powder or some honey, dates, even just vanilla extract or a fresh vanilla bean, and make a sweet hummus. It tastes fantastic. You'll be addicted to it. So what we've made is plain hummus with more or less garlic. This is plain hummus. To this you can add a host of different things and make different flavored hummuses. So you can add red bell pepper and make a red pepper hummus. You can just make plain hummus and add some paprika on it. Paprika on it. What I'm going to make today is just plain hummus, and then top it with some extra virgin olive oil and some sliced Kalamata olives. That's my favorite version of hummus. So the hummus is ready, and this is how it looks, and maybe you can see it in the light better. So it's thick consistency, but when I scoop it, it's droppable and it's super fluffy and creamy. Awesome. So this is how the skewer looks like when it's threaded. So it's basically pieces of chicken, pepper and onion alternating. I have my oven preheating on bake function at 450 Fahrenheit, and I have my middle rack ready with a shelf on it. So once we're done threading all of the skewers, we will go ahead and stick it in the oven, and I'm going to transfer the hummus It smells perfect already. So this is how it is in the bowl. What I'm going to do now is just top it with some extra virgin olive oil. Obviously it makes it look good. It also adds flavor, but another very important function of topping any hummus with some kind of oil is that it helps it from drying up and caking on the top. So that's how it looks. I'll show you later with a proper camera angle. And like I said, I'm just going to add a few slices of Kalamata olives on it. This is my most favorite kind of hummus, just plain with olives, and I can when I dip my pita chips, I selectively take pieces of olive. So I'll show you here quickly. So that's how the hummus looks. Our skewers are getting ready. So I saw a couple of questions. Someone's asking what happened to my arm. Actually, it's a broken tendon in my little finger, and that's why I had to go. I had a surgery last week, and I have to wear this special cast for a few weeks for recovery. Thank you. Thank you. So as I was saying, you can top it with roasted crushed garlic. You can There's so many different flavors of hummus you can make with that. You can also, when you're grinding the chickpeas, you can add a few pieces of cooked beetroot or some blanched spinach and make a beetroot hummus or a spinach hummus, and it gives it a beautiful color. That's also one of my other favorite go-to recipes to make, especially when I'm hosting a party, because it just looks beautiful on a dinner table. So our skewers are ready, and we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven. So the oven is preheated at 450 Fahrenheit. Oh yeah, someone's asking about hummus made with different beans. So yes, you can use, yeah. So you're putting it in the oven. So it's preheated at 450, and we're going to put it in for 10 minutes in the middle rack. Yes, actually cannelloni bean hummus is really creamy. Any beans that I use for making hummus, I try to deskin them. I think the skin is what makes any hummus really gritty. So it really helps with making any kind of hummus really creamy and smooth if you deskin it. So our kebabs are going to have to grill for around 15 more minutes. What's the time? So what I'm going to do to the kebabs is I grill them at 450 for 10 minutes. I roll over the skewers. I use these metal skewers so they're flat, which is perfect, and I can easily turn them over 180 degrees and they rest. So that's what I like about these the most. So I'm gonna cook it, bake it for 10 minutes, roll it over and bake it for another 5 minutes. And then in the end, I broil it for 2 minutes on the highest your oven will go just to get those nice black char marks. If you're grilling it on a barbecue or an outdoor grill, just grill it on medium high for 15 minutes and you should get the same results. So I will share the pictures once they're out of the oven because I think we're almost up to time on the 30 minutes and it's going to take another 10 to 15 minutes, like I said. So if you have any questions, please comment and I can come back and answer them. And I really had fun and I look forward to seeing you all next week. So thank you. Thanks again for joining, and thank you Hoboken Library for starting this initiative, and you've been hosting such amazing programs, and thank you for making me part of it. Thank you.